See, here's a poll. Do you think that the news media that you watch every day is 100% honest 100% of the time? Click and answer the poll. Now, if you answered no to that poll, then this video is for you. I thought what would be a great video is how to spot fake news.
Good things were destined for good things. We were destined for good things.
I'm JC. Welcome to the Q2 Theory. I have had the ability to go on and experience quite a few things in the political realm, from being able to, my diploma was handed to me by Governor Rick Scott. I actually got to go in a political program where I got to meet governors, senators, representatives. I worked alongside them. I served as a Texas state representative inside as part of this political program. I was able to go through the whole process of writing a bill, drafting legislation. Here in Florida, I was spoken at the Constitutional Revision Committee, where multiple committee members came up to me afterwards to congratulate me on the speech that I gave and how good and impactful it was delivered. I have been able to, what else have I done? I have been able to go and visit with Senator Nelson and talking to them about different things. I went to DC twice as a representative for my school, for the honor society that I presided over. I have had the opportunity, the great opportunity, to be involved and also trained by some of the greatest U.S. historians alive today on how to research and look at U.S. history and learn U.S. history. So I've had training in this area, and I thought what would be a great video is how to spot fake news. So how do you spot fake news? Benjamin actually tells us exactly how to spot fake news. No, not that Benjamin, this one. You see, you're probably already aware that people make fake dollars, right? Fake money. It's called counterfeiting. Now, in order to counteract the counterfeiters, there are actually people whose entire job it is to spot fake bills. I hope you're getting excited right now, because the exact same method they use to spot fake bills, you can use to spot fake news. And the best part is this technique is so simple to use that anybody, literally anyone, can use. I started with zero knowledge, and yet now I can easily spot fake news using the same technique used by these people who spot counterfeit money, which I'm about to show you right now. Now, I'm going to put all my cards on the table. The only thing that you're going to need once you have this technique is a new show or article that you want to verify and some time. And since time is our most precious, valuable asset, you won't have to waste it anymore on fake news, because you can use your time learning the truth. And speaking of spending our time, this isn't time, but it is something that we spend our time for, right? How do you know, how do those people know counterfeit bills, real from fake, when they see it? Well, simple. What they actually found out is that in order to spot the fakes, they don't go and search out all of the fakes. They don't look at the fake bills in order to find out what a fake bill is. They actually look at the real bill. They look at the actual truth. And then when they know the real thing, they're able to immediately spot the counterfeits. You can use that exact same thing when it comes to news. How does this actually work when it comes to news? Let me show you an example of how this plays out in real life. And I was able to speak at the 2017 Constitutional Revision Committee. This happens once every 20 years. It is the most powerful document in our state, and this meeting is what proposes constitutional revisions to that document. Now, what I was interested in when I was there at this event, I would qualify as what is called a primary source. When you're researching, primary sources are the best way to learn about historical events, or when you're just researching, primary sources are the best way to learn about what you're researching about. Now, being a primary source for that event, I was surprised when I read the news articles and saw the news following that committee about the committee. And it was interesting reading. I don't know if I want to throw shade at particular news organizations, but if I named them, you would know them. And I read these articles, I watched these news clips, and they were completely skewed on what they presented happening outside of that committee versus what actually happened. Now, this is coming from somebody who actually knows how to spot fake news, and yet I was actually shocked at just how bad it was, right? You can spot fake news, you can see it, but man, when you actually lived it and then turn around and read the news about what you did and you see how off it was compared to what actually happened, that was pretty shocking. But it happened. Now, how was I able to recognize that the article was fake, right? That it was fake news? Reputable news organization, fake news, right? How was I able to spot that? Well, simple. I knew the truth. I knew what had happened. I knew the real bill, right? And because I knew the real bill, when I saw a fake, I knew it was a counterfeit. So how does this play out when you're not a primary source or you don't have access to primary sources? All right, so there are a few things that you can do. If the news mentions a video and they show you a clip, go watch the full video. Usually whenever you have anything, whether it is an event or there's a speaking or there's a speech, whenever you watch these clips from the news, you generally have access online to the entire full event, full video, okay? People can take clips of anything and make them seem how they want them to seem, right? So one way, watch the full video and you'll be able to get everything in context. The next thing, check out C-SPAN. C-SPAN is a very good resource for actually watching and keeping up with political events. I had a fun time last month where I watched quite a bit of C-SPAN, and I would watch and pick, take little peeks at the regular news channels and see them reporting. Like, I knew what was going on before they were reporting it, because they're reporting it after the event happened and I'm watching the event live or listening to it live on C-SPAN, and I could literally watch how they twisted, sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't, but when they did, I spotted the counterfeit, and I could see how they twisted the news when I had actually watched it live myself. So that's the other thing. C-SPAN is a great resource for doing that, and you can listen live, you can watch live, or after the fact, you can still pull it up. Boom. The next thing is to read the actual document. Many times you'll hear, oh, well, this new bill or this legislative this or whatever, right? And then there are people giving you commentaries about these documents, which you have never read, and sometimes they haven't read in its entirety either. But the question is not if they've read it. The question is, are they presenting a full, realistic, accurate presentation of the document itself? Well, how do you know if you have not read the document? So whenever you hear documents being mentioned, take the time, the ones that are of most interest to you, take the time and read it. With that, stay focused. Pick out one or two issues that are most important to you and stay focused. Focus on those issues. Learn everything you can about those issues. This way it doesn't feel daunting. You don't feel like you have so much to learn and research, right? So the news is always throwing all these things at you, trying to get a headline that'll entice you or interest you or make them money, basically. Don't worry so much about everything the media is doing. Pick what's the most important to you and research those. Read the documents about those. Watch the full videos related to those issues. Next, you need to learn about people, okay? Many times when we see a news article, we see a news event about someone who's well known. So how can you learn about these people? For politicians, look at their voting records. When you look at their voting records and who they accept money from, when you do that, it's going to give you an idea of who they are as a person, right? So if you see a politician who is who gives money to a bunch of good causes, accepts money from good causes only, and on top of that votes in a way that you agree with, then you've got a very good idea of who this person is. So when you hear the news media saying something negative that goes against all of the research that you've actually done on this person, then you can figure out, okay, something's wrong with this story, because this story is saying, for example, that this politician hates puppies, and yet this politician gives millions to puppy-saving organizations, and puppy-saving organizations help his campaign, and he's voted 15 times on bills that help puppies. So obviously he likes puppies. This I know based on his actions, that their words are fake. Okay? So that's how, looking at their voting records, looking at who they give money to, looking at who they accept money from, are good ways to find out who they are and their character as a person. Now, a really fun tip when it comes to events and you hear things happening about events, look on Twitter or Facebook, generally Twitter, and you can find live videos posted there about what actually happened, and you can see unedited raw video about what actually happened at that event. So that is another really great resource when you're trying to find out the truth, when you're trying to find out the real bill about events that have taken place. And lastly, you want to verify sources, okay? So make sure that these sources are places that you trust, right? And when you can look at the sources, somebody who makes a lot of claims but doesn't give you sources, they don't give where you can go to look up things, that's when you want to be more watchful, right? That's why I tell you to look at the source material and everything like that. And remember to share to help some other people spot fake news, and subscribe for some real news. New videos every hump day. And remember everyone, we're destined for good things. Peace. See you in the next video.